what's up? Welcome back here to another edition of Intuitive Angling, and thanks a lot for making some time to check today's video out. Just a beautiful spring day here on Kentucky Lake practicing for the Toyota Series tournament, and I just wanted to take a couple minutes here and do today's video. Today we're going to be talking about two of my favorite really categories of lures to use for springtime fishing, and that's a bluegill imitator like this Megabass sleeper gill right here, and a crawdad imitator like the Megabass sleeper craw here. So we're going to be talking about when to use what pretty much in the same situation. And guys, these Baitworks, you guys know I'm working with Baitworks, so they got a big stock of all the new Megabass sleeper craws and the sleeper gills here. So I'll put the sleeper gill and the sleeper craw link in the description of this video if you want to get some from Baitworks. Much appreciated there. Okay guys, we're going to talk about these lure categories for fishing the same type of areas. So specifically, let's just talk about here. Look at this area that I'm in right here. This is just a flatter cove, just sort of a flat cove with the type of coves that bass spawn in the springtime of the year. And in the springtime of the year, bass tend to like flatter areas, places where they can spawn. So both of these lure categories are really good this time of year in these type of areas where the fish are maybe getting ready to spawn. Like out from here, you got some secondary points, then you got the cove that we're in here. So there's a lot of potential for the area for the fish to be in the pre-spawn stage or the actual spawn, which they'd be back in the cove, and then the post-spawn moving back out to the secondary points. And a lot of times the bass you'll have all three. You'll have some bass out on the points that are getting ready to spawn, that have done spawn. You have some bass back in here spawning. So it's just sort of typical during the springtime of the year. So here's my rule of thumb as far as using a crawdad imitator versus a perch imitator. The time that I use the perch imitators like the sleeper gill is when I want to cover water if there's not much cover. So if I'm fishing down a bank that doesn't have very much cover on it, sort of bare rock, bare gravel, mud type banks, that's when I go to the sleeper gill because I can cover a lot of water. And these bluegills, what they do is they cruise these flat banks in the springtime of the year, not only feeding just on minnows and whatever they can find, but obviously bass eggs, bass fry. And a lot of the times the bass will spawn in a variety of depths, sometimes just out on the open banks. So taking a bluegill imitator like this little Megabass sleeper gill swim bait, covering water with it is a really good way to catch them. Now, the difference is when I go to the crawdad imitator, like the sleeper craw, is if I'm fishing the same type of cover and there's any type of structure in the water. Say, for example, if there's a stump or a lay-down tree or a boat dock, anything like that, that is when I'll take the sleeper craw or a crawdad imitator, even like a jig, anything like that, Ned rig, anything, and I'll pitch it and flip it around that particular shallow cover because a lot of times the way the fish are positioned and the mood as far as their personality of attacking a bait, it tends to be more of an ambush. It's like when you're pitching and flipping a craw around some type of an object, those fish are sitting around that object and they, dart out and get something like that. And a lot of times when they're deeper like that, say on the deeper ends of those hard pieces of structure, you can't really get them to come up like on a swim bait like the sleeper gill out of that hard structure. So therefore you need to pitch and flip something like a crawdad imitator or a jig around there. And vice versa, it's like if you take a jig or a crawdad or something like that, a sleeper craw, and try to fish it just on a bare open bank, you're probably not going to get many bites on it, or you're not going to get near as many bites as if you do some type of a moving bait that goes horizontal through the water column. So anyway, guys, these these are becoming rapidly, man. I don't want this to sound like a commercial, but I just wanted to clue you in on this, guys. Guys, these two baits right here are two that you need in your box. The sleeper gill, the sleeper craw. You're going to be hearing a ton about them over the next year. Both of them are fairly new, and all you got to do is try them, and you guys will find out for yourself. There's something special about them. So anyway, guys, Baitworks link in the description if you guys want to try a couple of them. Really good this time of year. And another thing that I did is with this, I had a chance to use this sleeper craw since about last May, about a year now, and I did really good flipping this thing in the post spawn around docks. It was a really good bait for me like in June, so that's something to remember also. So anyway, okay, I'm gonna get back to practice here, guys. I'll check in later, and thanks for tuning in. See you.